Hello, you all. Welcome to this new season of Lectio Musica, the place for great lyrics, great music, and great meaning. My name is Guylain Prince. I'm a Franciscan friar from Canada. I love rock music for a long time now, especially hard rock, metal, and prog. Once a week, I stop by like this, like tonight, and I listen to it. Most of the time, it's a new piece of music for me. And I listen to it with you. I react to it naturally. I take a small break of 15 minutes and then I make a small analysis of the song. Yeah, I've been doing reading the lyrics before I see this for the first time. So I know what the song talks about. Nothing serious though, because I prefer to listen to it before I do a little bit deeper analysis of the song. Now, this is what I will do tonight. The new series of this year will be one video per week. First, I will react to a song. Second, I will make a small analysis of the song. And third, I will listen and react to a live version of a song. All in one video. So if you want to see only my reaction, my first reaction to the song musically in it, first, third. You just want to see the analysis of the song, second. And for this second section, it's quite easy. You will see that kind of images for the second part. It's a PowerPoint presentation that I prepare and in which I have just 8 memories of what I want to say about the lyrics and about the songs itself. So as you can see, it's the 15th video on Nightwish's history. For me, it's a great, I would say, journey through their music. So the Tarja era was in the series number 1 to 14. And last week, I was completely in something else. I was in a metal, hard rock and metal band that I absolutely love, emerging, very young, 13 to 21 years old, and they do covers and great original music. They are called Liliac. Their parents are from Romania, but they live in North America, in United States, to be more precise, in the state of Georgia. So last week I did their, I would say, the more recent covers. It's Lectio Musica number 68. And last year, in the fall, I did 1 to 14, the Tarja era. Now it's time for the Annette and the Floors era, the 2 other singers of Nightwish. This year, all will be in one video, 3 parts. First, the original recording with the lyrics. Second, it will be the analysis of the song, of the lyrics especially, but also the music. I will say a few here and there, a few pointers about the music itself. And third, a live video. All of this with subtitles in English, French, Spanish, Italian, and Dutch. Because the numerous fans, 4,000 fans, subscribers to the channel, that's what the language they speak mostly. So please proceed to the section you're interested in. Don't lose your time. If you don't want to see me react, just skip this part. If you want to go directly to the analysis of the song, go directly to the analysis of the song. If you want me to react to a live version, just take the last section of every video. That will be the formula for the Nightwish 10 weeks, 10 songs that you chose last year. As for now, let's go immediately to listen and to watch, to look at closely to the lyrics of the original recording of 2008. Yep, The Poet and the Pendulum. See you. Well, there we are. I'm excited because I know it's one of the big five, the big, big songs of Nightwish. I'm really excited to watch it. I know only, I only listen in 2008 that version. Never look at closely to the lyrics, never seen a live version of it, so it will be very nice to watch it a little bit later. So for now, let's dig into that great classic of metal symphonic. Let's go. Excellent. Oh, yep. Like in once, great symphonic orchestra. We don't. from the storm to Pacific. Pacific, the ocean, the calm. The death of the child poet. Oh, sorry, I thought it was finished. Here, calm after the storm. Yep. Yeah. Hey, wow. I have to say, frankly, I have not remember, I did not remember much of it from my four listening of 2008. I wonder if I went by it in a way because it was a 13 minutes song. I remember other song of the album, but this one, I didn't. It was all new to me. All new to me. I have to say. I have to confess that I didn't remember that song. Maybe I didn't realize how important it was. I was listening to this album like any others, and I didn't realize, probably I didn't know at the time, that something just happened in the band and it was kind of a new beginning. Maybe I would have taken a little bit more time, but I didn't. That's why I appreciate as if it was a completely new song, and I probably listened to it once or twice, but I don't remember. Anyways, this being said, the author separated that song in 5 parts, 5 movements. They are not of equal, maybe of equal importance, but not the same amount of time has been given to each of them. It has been, for a little while now, the first song that moved me, really. I've been moved by the song. I've been moved by the drama in the song. At one point I said it's like a storm. The second movement is a storm. The third one, if I'm not mistaken, is called the Pacific. Here, of course, it can be the ocean. We will talk about the ocean in the song, in the analysis. But it is also peace. Pacific is peace. And then there is this section, very determined. The fourth and the end, I would say not even the reconciliation, I would say rebirth. That is why at the end you have beginning of what? But of the album that will follow. This song belongs more as a conclusion of the Tarja era. It's like the period at the end of the Tarja era. And now beginning will be the new beginning, I guess. This is how I see it spontaneously. So you're up for the analysis? A 13-minute song, it will take a little while. Let's go for it. Here we go, guys. Let's dig into the lyrics in this analysis of the song. First, it is from the album Dark Passion Play. It's the very first song, the opening. It presents itself as the end of something and a new beginning. The beginning is the end, and the end of the song is the beginning. So I would call that song a transition between the old world and the new world. And in that past world, no members of Nightwish changed, but the singer. So it's the end of a world and the beginning of a new one. It's kind of interesting that this song, as the first song of the album, is in fact the period of the previous era. Second, if you look at almost all the top 5 songs of Nightwish, almost every time you will find The Poet and The Pendulum. It's there, always. I would say it's not my preferred one, but I see it very, very high in all the repertoire of Nightwish, with everything that I've listened to. Until now, I've listened all the albums until this one. It refers to a lot of other songs from the previous albums, both the images, the vocabulary, ocean, child, poetry, love that is killing something or killing the character, describing very painful lyrics and music, dramatic. It's a tragedy. In fact, I think it's a tragedy, that song. The end, really the end of something. Let's dig now in the first part that the author called it White Lands of Empatica. White Lands, of course, refers to some kind of paradise, empatica, empathy being the capacity that somebody has to echo, to understand the suffering of someone else. I remind you that the pathika is the Greek word for passion, or pathos. You probably know this expression. So empathicus would be to echo the suffering and or the emotions of the other, to be able to have an intuition of what is happening in someone else's heart. White lands of empathicas. So the heaven of empathy. We could translate it that way. Now let's dig into the words, the lyrics. First, the word the end. The songwriter's dead. The blade fell upon him. So it begins with the death of the songwriter. The blade fell. So the blade refers to many things, I think, but since the title of the song is The Poet and the Pendulum, pendulum being the time, the passing of time, so time has arrived for the poet to die. And I think that there are moments in the song where something or some part of someone dies, but something remains. But time passes. We say inexorablement in French. It's impossible to stop. Time will fly. Okay, will go on, will continue. Taking him to the White Land. So there is something in the poet, or the poet here, we will see it's the child poet, from what I understand anyway. I will ask you your opinion on that. So let's say, for example, the poet died, and he is in the White Land, heaven of empathy. So, of empathetica and of innocence. He found, maybe back, his innocence or lost it. It could be both sides here. And after that section, part 2 begins, home. And the home is not the home you expect. I would say that the last part feels more like home. But here it's tragedy after tragedy. Very strong emotional charge. I made the movement at one point. You have it right in the face, and it's strong and it's powerful, and the words are strong. The dreamer and the wine. So here's my suggestion. The child poet and the dreamer are the same thing. So the dreamer is dead, and the wine is the state by which the dead child or the dead dreamer is now into wine. So the poet ends up being without a rhyme, because part of his rhyme, his poetry, was based on dreams. Now that the dream is lost, no more rhymes. A withered writer, he lost his beloved, torn apart by chains of hell. The present state are chains of hell. He doesn't feel free. He feels tied in a situation that feels like hell. The broken heart, the one that suffered this separation of something, the widower, he has lost his love. So now he is without rhyme. One last perfect verse is still the same old song. Oh Christ, oh, I hate what I have become. For anybody who knows the Terrier era, understand is still the same old song. Sometimes I said in the analysis of the 14 previous songs that everything in Nightwish in those years blossomed from a single story, from a single situation. Everything, it was like a bouquet. You might have different flowers in the bouquet, but they all have their roots in the same story, probably the same personal story. So the one last verse is again the same old song, and this is perfectly understandable if you know the previous era's songs. I hate what I have become. That was my suggestion. The way I would read Goslar score, the way I would read the Beauty of the Beast. In the process, the person changed, but not for the best according to his own understanding. So I hate what I've become. Probably it explains the wine that you have in the first line. Take me home is a plea to go back home. I want to go back home like a child. Take me home. But maybe home was at that moment the previous state of the situation. Let's continue. Here we have what we call the chorus. It will come back 3 times. It's a long chorus, but it's described and proclaimed very fast. Get away, run away, fly away, let me astray to dreamers hide away. He wants to find back, to fly from the present state to the dreamers hide away. I cannot cry cause the shoulder cries more. If the person you want to go to, you want to cry on someone else's shoulder, and this shoulder, the person cries even more than you are, you cannot fall in pieces on that shoulder and cry. So you have to retain your cry, because suffering is around you, is on this person's. You cannot. I cannot die. A whore for the cold world. A whore. This is really, just look at the Beauty of the Beast. Just look at many other songs. The writer described his songs, his music, as a prostitute. You have it here. And his music is sung, and yeah, I will do what people want, whatever is the cost for me. This is what you have here. The cost has been enormous. The passion was terrible. A passion here with a double meaning of being a love story and being very painful one. Forgive me, I cannot play games. I have only 2 faces. The one in front of the world and the one I have in front of God. But who is the real me? I'm not sure I know anymore. Save me. I have but 2 faces. Think about this. I cannot cry, the shoulder cries more. I cannot die, I, a whore of the Cold War. The Cold War, the cold world does not have real affection, real love. At least it doesn't answer to the need, the basic need here. My home was there in the previous situation, and then those meadows of heaven, for me, they were like the first landscapes of heavens, adventure-filled day. So there is probably youth and love and a relation in that period of his life, one with every smiling face. Yeah, there was many smiling faces. Everything was like a little bit blue and pink and beautiful, and everything was going right. Please, no more words. Thoughts from a severed head. The head has been cut. No more praise. Tell me once my heart goes right. Once my heart will come back to normal, maybe I will be able to understand the words. Maybe I will be able to hear the praises. But now, take me home. That's all he wants. Take me home. Next, you already know that. Wants to go to the Dreamers Hideaway, and it seems that the Dreamers Hideaway is not accessible anymore. You are only in the passion, the dark passion. Part 3, the Pacific. If you have seen previous songs, you know how rich In his poetry, the ocean is in Thomas' poetry. It's gorgeous. It's everything. It's the origin. It's the end. It's the calm. It's the deepness. It can describe the soul, the ocean soul, as being deep, deep, and being with so many things that we don't understand, and bursting at the surface from the deepest parts of us. Um, so in that ocean, what is it? I want you to sparkle my scenery with turquoise waterfall, because for now I'm in the dark, with beauty underneath, to the ever free. He wants to see the beauty. He wants to feel free and at peace again. Something he is not. Paragraph number 6. Tuck me in beneath the blue. Same, beneath the pain. For me, the second movement, the idea I had in mind was a storm. I didn't know that the element of ocean was so important in the coming verses, but for me, it really sounded like a storm, and then the Pacific like peaceful. So as if the ocean found its peace by going deeper. You know that in an ocean, the surface is, the storms are in the surface. Underneath, something is peaceful, apparently. Beneath the ocean, beneath the blue, beneath the pain, is the deep, profound peace. Goodnight kiss for a child in time, swaying blade, my lullaby. So this idea that the child, dying child, about to die with the passing of time, would like to find back the peace of the origins. On the shore we sat, and what is among the most important memories of that blue time? You'll remember maybe from other songs, that blue time. We sat on a shore and we were together. This is an image that comes, this image comes regularly as happy time, tenderness, proximity with someone. So on the shore we sat and hope, under the same pale moon, whose guiding light choose you all. The night in Nightwish lyrics is a beautiful thing. The place for intimacy, the place for grandeur, immensity, eternity, the place for infinity. And we sat under the pale, so we had a guiding light in life, the pale moonlight, and you followed that, but all followed that moonlight, but does the poet chose the moonlight? And I wonder here, what is the moonlight? Often in poetry, the sun is a male symbol, the light a female symbol. Does that have anything to do with that? I don't know. But to me, it all goes to it all converges to the same reality. And then the voice, I'm afraid, so afraid. So the little boy is afraid of dying, being raped again and again. If it was a woman's, if these were women's words, it would be terrible. The famous whore that we have in the chorus would be physically a person who is a whore, a prostitute. But here, it's not a woman, it's a human being. A human being being raped, it's being taken advantages of the person constantly, but at least some people, they admire me, they love me. And you remember, we had that in a song where the admiration and the love of admirers, of fans, was a compensation for the not the non-story happening at other level. It was partly satisfying, but not completely satisfying. I think this is what you have here. I know I will die alone, but loved. Yeah, alone here is the relation, privilege, love relation for me. But I'm loved by other people, but not the same way, and not totally satisfying way. Now, you live long enough to hear the sounds of guns. We saw that theme in the 10th, I don't remember, 10th Men's Down, I think. Yeah, long enough to find myself screaming every night. The fact that there have been events that imprinted themselves in his mind and soul. Live long enough to see friends betray you. So there is this feeling of abandonment. Is can be love, can be friendship as well. For years I've been strapped onto this altar. What is this altar? Now I only have 3 minutes and counting. 3 minutes. Some people said, I remember reading something saying that the 3 minutes is the time that the song will last, the 3 last minutes. And then the altar would be the music itself, the show, the stage. So you are strapped. It means you don't feel free in that role of being a musician, pouring out your heart and soul in a cold world. You are an artist, you are a musician, a poet, but in a way you are sacrificed. This is not the first time we see that as well. The poet is sacrificed while other people are feeding themselves at the feast he prepared. And there's very, very hard sentence verse you have in another song saying, he says, the best advice I can give you is feast yourself on the beast feast, on the beast banquet. Take advantage of him. I think he feels a little bit like this. The author feels like this, is that finally he suffers but produces music and melody and art, and a lot of people are counting on him. So his suffering becomes the site of his creativity, but at the same time it's extremely painful, it's excruciating, it's a dark passion. I wish the tide, the water, the ocean, the fact that he goes back to the origin, the basics, catch me first and give me a death I always long for. I think you can understand that. Dark passion play. Fourth path. The voice of Marco, the beautiful voice of Marco, second robber to the right of Christ, cut in half, infanticide. Now, this is the reason why I say the dreamer is a child poet. It's the child in him died in his music while he was performing the music on the altar, on every stages in the world. The child was dying. The world will rejoice today, and the crows feast on the rotting poet. I'll let you imagine what it means. Money-making machines on the suffering of the poet. Everyone must bury their own, no pack to bury the heart of stone. Now he's home in hell, serves him well, slain by the bell, tolling for his farewell. All expressions of death or dying, you bury some part of yourself. And when someone suffers, he becomes a heart of stone. This image will come back at the end. And nobody regrets the heart of stone, even if the stone is there because the heart of flesh has been broken. And now he's home in hell. So it's not the home at the beginning. It's not the home that we will see at the end. He has entered hell. So I'm saying, well, slain by the bell of the end, slain by the pendulum, paying for his farewell, tolling for his farewell, passage. Next morning dawn upon his altar remains dark passion play. And the altar, so the day after, there are the remains of the dark passion play. The play is a performance, public performance of a dark passion. So the shows are the music of that very dark passion, performed by his friends without shame, spitting on his grave as they came. These images are extraordinary, powerful, they well written, extremely powerful, and part of a moment of extreme lack of hope, lack of the person feels that there's nobody around him anymore. Nobody loves the author. Nobody loves the person. And this hell is the place he should be, because now his heart is of stone. That's the retribution of a heart of stone. You know this chorus, we won't go through it again, and the voice of the little boy. Today in the year of our Lord 2005. You know what is my hypothesis about those passages that are between brackets in Thomas's poetry? I think they are basically abstract of his own personal journal, diary or something. Today in the year of our Lord 2005. So this is what he claimed, he proclaimed, or I think déclame in French, in his personal. Thomas was called from the cares of the world. He stopped crying at the end of each beautiful day. The music he wrote had too much been without silence. He needs silence. He was found naked and dead with a smile in his face and pen, and 1,000 pages of erased text. All the poetry he wrote during that period, very little thing remained. And I suggest that maybe it's only the last poem that stayed of this period, the one we have in that song. Save me. The real person wants to live. Mother and father. This beautiful portion of the story where everything calms down. And I see, I don't know if I saw a storm in the second movement here and a calm sea in the third, I see a very calm sea and sunset here. I'm home with father and mother, my roots, my early childhood. Be still, my son. Your home, your real home is here. Oh, when did you become so cold? The author was saying that the world was cold. Here, maybe the father is saying, why you are so cold. It would it would come, I think, in echo with the heart of stone that we saw in the previous verse. The blade will keep on descending, pass, the time will continue to pass. And if the child had died, the man must survive. All you need is to feel my love, the love of your father, the love of your mother, the origin, the roots. And then another, maybe it's both, maybe it's now the mother, maybe it was the father, I don't know that. But for sure, these paragraphs are said by the parents. Search for beauty, find your shore, your shore. Remember, we were sitting by a shore looking at the sea. Well, beauty, shore, try to save them all. So he was asking to be saved, him. But here is, in a way, there's counseling. The person is saying, look beyond you. Other people might be saved by everything that will happen. Bleed no more. Don't let this terrible death injury letting you bleed forevermore. You have such oceans within you. In the end, I will always love you. The beginning. The words, I will always love you. The will of the Father, Mother, I will, or we will always love you, is the beginning. There the engine restart. There is the resurrection. There is the new life, the beginning. And there's a new album coming up the alley. And I remember well saying a very rich album. I was amazed in 2008 about this song. So what can we say? I cannot go as deep because I have to say that this is unbelievably deep and rich. The images are incredible in there, powerful. The music is powerful. I cannot go into details. Sometimes I can with a shorter song. I can kind of cut into parts the song. But here are the things I can say about words, so the lyrics, the music, and the meaning. First, in terms of music, for metal, it's very complex song, and it really is symphonic metal at its best. 5 parts of movement of very distinctive and also very intense identity. Melodically, it's not the strongest song of all. There are other choruses, or there are other melodic line, for example, in Ghost Love Score and so many others that are stronger. But there is something unusual about it that makes it stand beyond all others. And in terms of lyrics, musically, it really describes the death of, here I called a child poet. It's the journey towards death and resurrection. In terms of lyrics, in poetic language, it's a deep distance. He owns art. Somebody went really deep in the heart in I might say depression or despair and suffering. And it was caused by a certain kind of love. And it was lived like a tragedy. It was perceived by the author as a complete tragedy, an emotional death of some kind, but describing it as an external death of a pendulum coming and cutting the life of a child poet. Now, in terms of meaning, this is how I understand it, but I want to hear you, of course. Time passes and cannot be stopped. It will cause the death of something in our hearts and mind. Some parts of us will die. these passages, they are called passion in that song. Passion has two meanings, as you know. Passion, synonymous of a great love, and passion, synonymous of great suffering. A passion, as you know, for example, in the case of Christ, as stated, can a passion, a great suffering, can be very fruitful on the other side. But sometimes great suffering seems to be without meaning, without sense. They don't make sense. For now, the author doesn't see any positive outcome. Nothing is at sight. Oh yes, finally there is something at sight. There's only the end. At the end of the song is a new beginning. So this life has to die so that something else can come. And yet, if a certain poet is pictured dead, another one is about to emerge. And there's a new beginning. A new beginning is associated with the roots, with the fact that he connects himself with Father, Mother, the origins of everything. He will go back to the essential, being loved, unconditional love. And if you noticed in that song, there's a lot of conditional love, because the artist brings some things and we like it, we lime, and we keep coming to his performance, a play, while the artist is suffering alone. Next week, we continue our journey. The 16th of 24 videos will be on the song Amaranth. There will be, like this week, one video of reaction and analysis in English with subtitles in French, English, Spanish, Dutch, and Italian of the studio version first, with lyrics, the analysis of the same song, and a reaction to a live version. The premiere of every video now will be on Fridays, 1:30, with live chat, 1:30 Eastern North America, which means it's something like 7:30 in Europe, Western Europe, for example. If you want to know what time it is, you just have to click and subscribe. And if you do that, you will receive a reminder 30 minutes before and the day before. So you will be able to know exactly at what time will be the premiere. So, dear friends, that's it for this week. The analysis is finished. Good. Now it's time to go and watch a live version of the song from Wembley 2015, as you recommended me. Let's do that, dear friends. Let's enjoy the song again. That's a recording. There's no child singing in there. Oh, that's the recording. pendulum with light. Never seen that. Never.
Why
It sounds like a military call or something, eh?
I'm afraid, so afraid, being raped again and again and again. I know I will die alone, but loved. You live long enough to hear the sound of guns, long enough to find yourself screaming every night, long enough to see your friends betray you. For years, I've been strapped onto this altar. Now I only have 3 minutes and counting. I just wish the tide would catch me first and give me a death I always longed for.
Death of a child. The Heartstone. Again, the ocean, the blue ocean. Love Guy on this song. Motherly voice.
How did you become
I will only say a few words here. I know how everybody says that live Nightwish is so much better and so on and blah blah blah. I'm aware of that, and I generally agree completely. I love this formation of Nightwish, not to say anything about the previous or the one after. This is perfectly executed live. This is extraordinary, extraordinary. But now, strictly on the level of composition, I was as much moved by the studio version as the live versions. I mean, for me, I do love great studio production. I do love when I hear things and beautiful things and beauty. I love it as much in a studio control environment as in live. So for me, in terms of, I do not feel like others, the very distance between the live version and the studio version. In fact, I have noticed things in the studio versions that I sometimes like even better. Okay. This being said, I didn't feel like many people say, many persons, the distance between Annette's original version on the recorded and the live version. Why? Because I think we can hear that Annette is not as flexible in terms of voice. But I have to say that to my own surprise, she can convey an emotion. She can transmit an emotion on a studio record, which is far more difficult than we think. The quest for perfection sometimes erases every emotional impulse in the interpretation of a song. And for me, I love both. Really, I truly love both, even if I recognize that Floor's live contribution here is quite convincing. The song is beautiful, beautifully done. The graphics adds very delicately elements of beauty. The tragedy, the storm, the battle, all is there presented clearly under the impossible to divert passing of time. See you next week for Amaranth.